Guys, it's been 3 years of most anticipated list, and I've been waiting for this film for 5 years. And you know what? I am so happy it released. But is it any good? Let's talk about that. What's going on, everyone? I'm so excited to finally be talking about Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1, the newest film from director Christopher McQuarrie. Okay, guys, I'm excited. I really am. I've been waiting for this film for 5 years. The first film I ever talked about was Mission Impossible Fallout, and I've been excited about this. I joked in my most anticipated list that this film was in my 1A because I was tired of talking about it as my most anticipated film. Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse was, of course, my most anticipated film just because of how good that film was. My level of excitement might actually have been more for this film, to be fairly honest. And the plot of this movie, I will not go to too many spoilers because it is a very plot-heavy film. It is definitely a Mission Impossible film, and there's a lot of stakes and stuff going on in this film because it is a very personal story to Ethan Hunt's story. And so this film is a two-parter. The first part, and it's basically the story about this thing called the Entity, which is a AI program. It's been talked about in the other reviews, but basically different parties, different governments want this Entity program, and as we know, Ethan Hunt is kind of a neutral character, so he's going to stop these individuals from taking this Entity program. And basically, it becomes another globe-trotting adventure that includes, people like Simon Pegg and Ving Rhames and Rebecca Ferguson. We have new characters played by Haley Atwell. We, of course, have Henry Czerny coming back as Kittredge. We have, Esai Morales, who plays Gabriel. Klementieff is in this movie as one of the side characters to this franchise. Vanessa Kirby comes back as the White Widow. And it basically becomes, how does Ethan Hunt reckon with everything that he has done, the wake in his past, the wake in his present, and the people around him? And it becomes a much more personal story about who Ethan Hunt is, what he is, and the stopping of this AI program, which is a big fear for the current state of the world, as you've read in the papers. And that's kind of where the story leads. He basically goes on another mission. He's another rogue agent. People are fearful of him. We have people like Cary Elwes come into the mix. And that's kind of the story. It's how does he stop this problem with his past, with his future, with the people that are in his lives. And once again, like I've talked about in my spoiler discussions, he is a character that is very much, the people around him are very much at stakes and odds and stuff like that. So it's very much what you expect from a Mission Impossible movie in a lot of respects. The question remains, is it very good? Is it worth watching? And my worry about this film was it was going to go too big because it's 2 hours and 45 minutes. It was going to go too bold. And after what we've seen from Fallout and what we've seen from Ghost Protocol and Mission Impossible 3, and of course Rogue Nation, which is one of my favorite films in the action franchise, it's really difficult to up the stakes. We've seen it. We know that Tom Cruise and Christopher McQuarrie are very capable at this point of creating great action. But once again, when you jumped out of a plane, when you climbed the Burj Khalifa, when you swim in the ocean and attach yourself to a plane, how do you top that? And so I went into this movie just very excited, but I knew that, there's possibilities that it could fail, but the movie garnered fantastic reviews, 100% Rotten Tomatoes or whatever at one point. And so my level of excitement may be different than yours. So go into this knowing that I was really excited for this movie. And so with that said, to get to the honest review of this movie's fantastic. This movie's amazing. This movie is absolutely everything I wanted to. It's not perfect. There are some problems that I have with this movie that, if you know me, I'm very of that type where I will find flaws in a movie just for the simple fact of not every movie's perfect. And there are things that the movie does, which I've talked about in the past in my spoiler discussions, that this movie repeats, and it repeats to full effect, and it gets annoying. And it's one of those things where you start wondering if they are just following the same tropes. But outside of all that, this movie just, it is such a personal story. It's such a big budgeted movie, but it's also very small in its nature of who Ethan Hunt is and what he is and the world around him. It's a movie about our fears in the current state of America or the current state of the world. It's a movie about, the people around you and how special they are and how important they are and what does that do to someone's psyche when they are put into mortal danger. And it's a movie about taking all that in and taking the nature of everything in perspective and using it to full effect. And that's why this movie truly works and once again proves that this franchise is one of the best action franchises, or to me personally, one of the best film franchises of all time, because it allows these characters to be fully developed. It allows these characters to have dimension. It has personal stakes. It has absolutely ramifications for everything and around the world. And I think this movie actually improves a little bit upon Fallout with the nature of like who Ethan Hunt is and what he is capable of doing, what he's known for doing. And on top of that, it has amazing set pieces. Yes, you can tell there's CGI in this movie, but between the stuff you've seen in the trailer with the train and the jumping off the cliff, which has also been documented like to crazy, this movie just has absolutely. Christopher McQuarrie has turned into one of the best action directors of all time, because of what he's been able to do with Tom Cruise as an actor. They're willing to up the stakes. They're willing to take things to the 11th degree and take it beyond that. But it also just adds personal stakes. I really love that about it. I love everybody in this movie. I love the returning characters. Like I said, Simon Pegg gets his moments. There's actually some back and forth between him and Luther Stickle, the Ving Rhames character, that is fantastic. That actually brings up one of the biggest jokes that I've kind of complimented and talked about what it's like for two techs to work together, and there's some jokes about that. I love the bringing back Rebecca Ferguson because it ties into the last two movies and kind of the relationship with Ethan. I love the fact that this character played by Esai Morales is actually a worthy villain for this franchise. It's always been said that Philip Seymour Hoffman was actually the one true great villain of this franchise. And I think the character of Gabriel actually works really well. And I think Klementieff has some really great moments. It's not like the greatest character in the world, but I think she is a compliment to Gabriel's character in a lot of ways. And I think they both work well. I love what Esai Morales is doing in this film, because he's a character that just emanates this kind of weirdness and kind of strangeness that this franchise has always been known for. And I just love that about it. I just find that very fascinating. And I love the fact that Vanessa Kirby comes back and she's the White Widow, and they continue that storyline. I love everything about that. I love the weird nature to her character and kind of the shifty character nature of her character. And I love, once again, if you've seen Fallout, she is related to a character from the first movie. So therefore, it actually has a connection with Henry Czerny's Kittredge character, which is another character that I had issues with what they did with him in the first movie, but there is some interesting things they do with him in this movie that I really find fascinating. And I think it's fun to bring these characters back, these individuals, because it completely rounds out the whole universe and allows these characters to be more complex, more confidence. And it's really a nice thing. Henry Czerny's not in the movie very much, but when he's in it, you really get a good nature of his character in general. And there's not really much I can say that it hasn't been said about Tom Cruise. He saves summer. He saves the industry. He is that individual that cares so much about film, so much about movie making, so much about the theater experience, that it bleeds everything that he is known for doing, and it's absolutely perfection. And I just love Tom Cruise in this because they give him more personal stakes. They actually continue this story that has started in 3 and continues on. It allows more deep kind of conflict and more deep kind of structure to his character, so it's really a lot of fun and a lot of entertainment, and you get a lot of good sense. This feels like a story that's just a continuation. There's no real beginning to his character. You just kind of flow into his character. And I love how the story kind of starts out and kind of, throws into the mix and stuff like that and whatnot and so on and so forth. And then on top of everything, you introduce this character that is played by Hayley Atwell, who plays Grace. And Hayley Atwell's character in this movie is very tropey, I guess you could say. But Hayley Atwell is probably the standout of this movie. We already have standouts with the characters we've already been introduced to many, many movies now. But there is something that is awe-inspiring with what Hayley Atwell is doing in this movie. And she absolutely delivers on every emotion, every beat, every take. This is why she is a fantastic actress. This is why she was so good in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. This is why she's good as an actress in general. And she emanates an individual that is on par with Ethan Hunt's character was able to coexist with him and make Ethan Hunt actually little more human than what he's become in the entire franchise. And it's absolutely fantastic to see them work together. The chemistry is through the roof with these characters, especially those two characters of Tom Cruise and Haley Atwell, and it absolutely delivers. And on top of everything, it's a fun character piece that she's performing, and I can't wait to see how this like franchise continues with these characters and stuff like that. But the standouts are, of course, are what Mission Impossible does. The set pieces are fantastic. The look and feel of this movie is very Christopher McQuarrie. It's, you know, the oranges and greens and browns and stuff like that. It's a movie that structures itself around a specific set. You know, it's one of the things we talk about in the spoiler discussions is how the story is always structured around the set pieces. But I think the movie actually here is more focused than a lot of the other movies when it comes to the structuring of the movie compared to the structuring around the set pieces. The set pieces actually complement the movie more than the movie complements the set pieces. And I really think that's a justifiable, interesting way to do things. So I really found that really interesting, really intriguing. And once again, like I said, there's not a huge amount of set pieces, but the set pieces that are there, the action set pieces, are fantastic. They're well done. They're well shot. Once again, it shows that Christopher McQuarrie just has a level head about what he's doing. He's very much comfortable, I guess is the easiest way to put it, more in line with his abilities to kind of work together with, of course, Tom Cruise, which he's been working with him for years. So once again, this has all the great set pieces, has all the great set moments. Like I said, my only complaint is the Shea Whigham character. I'll talk about more in spoilers when I do the discussion with Triv from Trivial Theater. But there's stuff that they throw with him and some other character, and just there's other things that I don't want to get into spoilers where I feel like, you know, you can't talk about it because it would ruin the movie a little bit. But they do things in this movie which bother me, which take this movie down a little bit. As like I said, Rogue Nation is still my favorite film of this franchise. But it's bothersome. It really is. It's stuff that bothers me. It's stuff that this franchise does, which is it keeps doing over and over and over. And I just feel like this franchise needs to expand a little past what they're doing. But it doesn't take away from how great this movie really is. It's one of the best movies I've seen this year. And it's going to be in my top 10. Of course. I mean, there's no way it can't be because, I mean, it exceeded my expectations. Though I had some problems with it, which I'll talk about in spoilers, I feel that this movie absolutely delivers. In a movie that shot during COVID, it feels like, once again, a very small movie in a very big movie's body. So there you go. But with that said, I've been talking for quite a while now. I think that's where I'm going to end my review for the non-spoiler sense. But know going in that you have nothing to worry about. If you're worried about this film at all, know that this is another great banger of a film in this franchise and definitely is worthy of the Mission Impossible name. So anyways, with that said, that'll do it. That'll be my non-spoiler take of Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1. Glad that it was absolutely fantastic. And yeah, that'll do it. Comments below. What's your favorite Mission Impossible movie? What's your favorite Mission Impossible stunt? Are you looking forward to Dead Reckoning Part 1? Let me know in the comments below. Otherwise, if you like what you see on this channel, hit the subscribe button to join Movie Emporium. Hit that notification bell at top to find what's coming next. If you like this video, awesome. Hit that like button, and we'll see you guys on the next video. Peace out.